Well, guys, I finally did it. I traded in the MT-07 for a Sportster. Nah, I'm just with you. My bike's over here. It's a hot one today, guys. Got a little summer in the south. Don't back into somebody else's bike. Even though it's a stupid Harley, I don't care about Harleys. So what's up, guys? Paramoto here. Welcome back to the channel. Smells like hot dogs out here. So guys, I am out here today to do the 6-month review of my Yamaha MT-07. If you guys have been following the channel, my Yamaha MT-07 was bought in January of this year. Fake police. I put roughly 4,000 miles on it, and it cost me about $8,100. We're at $3,799. It's fitting to be ready for an oil change. Oh man, it's still so fun. This bike for the last 6 months has been a solid workhorse motorcycle for me. I have transitioned to using this as my daily driver. I don't even know if my car would start anymore at this point. If you guys know me, if you're a friend of mine, you know that I never drive my car. Honestly, half the people that I know probably don't even believe that I own a car because I'm constantly on this motorcycle. We're going to get into a little bit of details of this motorcycle here, but I think first and foremost, one of the best reviews that I could possibly give to this bike, TLDR of this video, is that I still feel like a little hooligan on this bike. I still feel like I'm on day one with this motorcycle 6 months later, which I think is probably one of the biggest positive reviews you could possibly give to a motorcycle, that you're still having just as much fun on day one as you are on day 180. The pops and the sound of this motorcycle have not gotten old yet. Kind of a little bit of a bonus point to make on this bike is that since it sounds so good and you can still just be a little street cricket on this thing, you're kind of like the worst of like several worlds when it comes down to being a motorcyclist. Like, I'm just as annoying as a potato Harley guy, and I'm like just as annoying as a street bike guy because I'm zooming throughout traffic and I'm like just rev bombing everywhere. So yeah, get an MT-07, be the worst of every world. Stop and appreciate this view real quick. This is one of my favorite views in Raleigh. I love these glass buildings, man. They're so cool looking. I want to go up there. I think there's a pool there. So, like I said, it's coming up on its first regular service. But its first regular service is honestly, like, essentially just an oil change that I kind of plan on doing myself. I'm going to do the oil change, and like the rest of the service is essentially just checks. You know, it's not actually doing much of anything. So I'll probably be doing that myself, and that's coming up very soon, so look forward to that video. So dialing it back a little bit, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really think that this bike was going to be for me at first. I bought it mainly to be a road trip bike, and it didn't feel great on the highway. Why are you stopped at a green light? What are you doing with yourself? It took a minute to get used to it because honestly it didn't feel planted, which is a pretty routine complaint for a bike like this. To be honest with you, it is a naked bike. There's not a whole lot of weight holding it down up front. Slalom time. So it wiggles a little bit. It kind of wiggles a little bit on the highway, which you gotta kind of get used to. Over time, I've gotten very used to it, and honestly, I don't really notice it anymore at all. I'm used to the highway wiggliness. I think one thing that you could definitely say about this bike that I can't say about any other bikes is that this bike is about as close as I've ever gotten. I've never gone this way before. This bike is about as close to any other bike that I've ever had of having 0 chicken strips. If you guys don't know what a chicken strip is, that is the unused section of a tire on the side of a motorcycle tire. It definitely is a little bit of a measuring stick to see like how good of a rider people are. Let's go down here. I like this place. Honestly, with some of my other bikes, I've had some pretty large chicken strips because I wasn't very comfortable on them. This bike, the chicken strips are almost completely non-existent, which I think goes to show that it just takes a little bit of time. It just takes a little bit of time on this bike to get used to it. Don't give up on it right away. You know, give it a solid, month or two before you're like, oh yeah, this thing doesn't feel good. You know, just give it a month or two, ride it around a little bit. But yeah, this video is generally going to be me kind of like responding to my previous reviews of this and seeing if things are still an issue. Besides for the non-planted feel, which I've honestly gotten over, I will say another thing that is kind of annoying still is the small gas tank on this bike. This bike has a 3.7 gallon gas tank, which is almost a full ass gallon less than a normal gas tank. A normal gas tank has about 4.5 gallons in it, and this one's got less than that. Subscriber, nicely enough, pointed out that the reason why this bike has a smaller gas tank is for crash protection, which kind of makes sense. If you drop this bike, there's Crash Pro on both sides of the gas tank, which will keep it from actually being damaged, because the vast majority of motorcycles nowadays don't have a metal gas tank like a classic motorcycle does. They have, you know, essentially gas tank covers, and the gas tank is a piece of plastic underneath all of this. It still feels like I stop and get gas all the time. It does, you know, which I don't appreciate very much. I would still like a bigger gas tank. I still would. I mean, I got gas today. I get roughly 120 miles before I start thinking about filling up, because I just don't want to get stranded somewhere and no turn on red again. Man, Riley, you suck. There's like 120 miles of confidence miles, and then like I would be comfortable taking this bike 150 to 160 miles on a tank. It's really not a problem. I still have gas left in the tank, but you know, if I was on a road trip or something like that, I would say 150 would be my limit before I actually felt uncomfortable. The things that I mentioned previously on this bike that I didn't really love was the controls. The controls have definitely taken some time. The click wheel has not fallen off, which is super awesome. It's taken some time to learn how to actually use them, and effectively like when to click it, when to click and hold and stuff like that, but it's come around, and I'm honestly pretty happy with it. There's not a ton that you can really do with this display anyway. It's just kind of resetting things, so it's not that big of a deal that the controls aren't super user friendly, but I've gotten used to it. It took a couple months, but I've gotten used to them. I've had a blast with this motorcycle so far. I really like modding it. I'm looking forward to getting my next set of mods. I have a seat coming for this bike that cost me like $700, and until that comes, I'm not going to spend any money on any other parts. I very well might do the front headlight next. That's going to be in a paycheck or two. But this bike has been super fun to mod so far. The little things I've done have been super fun. This bike is super easy to mod, and just about everybody makes parts for this thing. I think that's a big positive for this bike is the ease of modding. Everybody likes to change their motorcycles, so it's like, you know, to get a bike that you can actually easily mod, I think is a very big plus. We'll be doing more changes to this bike in the future. The other things that I mentioned in one of my last videos about the bike's quality is that the center plastic scratches up a lot. It's still getting more scratches. I'm not a super huge fan of that, so I do plan on like sticker bombing this whole black plastic part and putting an aftermarket gas cap on it that'll just be black. So like eventually it's not even that big of a deal, because I will be changing it, but I do feel like there should be something else. There should be something that keeps that plastic from getting so scratched so fast, especially considering that very little actually touches this part of the plastic. I don't know why it got scratched so easy. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it did. Overall review of this bike, guys, is that 100%, if you have the means to buy one of these, get one of these. It is a fantastic daily driver. I can 100% see this being a great bike for road trips, which is what I'm going to use it for. It's just as much fun on day 180 than it is on day one. It's actually probably more fun because I'm more comfortable with it. I mean, day one, the twitchy throttle and stuff, which I guess is something that I haven't really mentioned, but the twitchy throttle and stuff didn't inspire a whole lot of confidence. But, you know, now I'm kind of used to it, and I kind of like that illusion of power that twitchy throttle gives. I think that is a really big positive for a bike that could be, you know, just as much fun, or, you know, even more fun as time goes on, as you learn it more, as you get more comfortable with it. So I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you know, would I buy this bike again? 100%. If I wrecked this bike today, I would 100% use the insurance money to buy another one of these. Like, and I think that's probably the biggest, you know, satisfaction review that you can give a motorcycle. A nice longboard and your mask outside by yourself. But I think that's like one of the best things that you can possibly say about a motorcycle is that if it broke today, would you buy another one? 100% with this MT-07. 100%. Not even a little bit of a question. Not even a little bit of a question. I would love to buy another one of these. It's longboard, mask outside by yourself. We are judging you hardcore right now, sir. If you have issues with any of that, leave it in the comments down below. Let's start a flame session for Mr. Sandals longboarder afraid of still. in 2024 outside by yourself, mask wearing guy. A ponytail too? Oh, I didn't notice if he had a ponytail. I really hope he had a ponytail. That would just make it so much better. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment. I try my best to answer every single comment that I get. Sometimes things get lost because I'm old and I'm not good with computers. It's not because I'm ignoring you. Oh God, start, stop, start and stop, start and stop. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching again. MT-07 for the win. I love this bike. Fantastic bike. 6 months later, still love every second of it. Go get yourself one if you have the means. That's my review. My review is it good. That's my review. It good. See you guys. Deuces.